You've heard it before, but also maybe you haven't. Your everyday life is filled with sounds that are there for a reason. They're designed to influence you, but not to be remembered. You've heard them all 1,000 times. Maybe it's a soft hum in the elevator, the tones just before your train arrives, or the melody that floats through the clothes shop that you browse through as you're looking for your next addition to your already brimming wardrobe. You never really listen to them, but you feel it, and that's the point. My name is Archetype, and this is the world full of music that is controlling your mind. In the 1940s, America was fighting in the Second World War. As the men were fighting overseas, the women were taking on more masculine jobs on the factory floors. But then, in these factories, in the midst of a world war, music was appearing in the factories. But the music wasn't just there to entertain them, it was there to subtly control them. Basically, avoiding getting too technical, a man called George Owen Squier had invented a way to send multiple signals like phone calls and music over the same wire. This is called multiplexing. He then used this idea to develop a company called Musac to be able to deliver music into people's homes through the same wires that they got their electricity through, avoiding the need for expensive radios. Although this largely failed to gain popularity in US homes, it shined in more public spaces like the factories. Musac had developed something they called stimulus progression. This was where they would play carefully timed music in 15-minute blocks, starting soft and slow, building in tempo and energy, and then stopping completely. Now, this was partly due to technical reasons because of old technology, but also by having silence, it would remove listening fatigue and stop it from being just tuned out. And studies showed that factories where they played music for their workers saw increased productivity within the 15 minutes that the music was playing. With this, Musac had figured out a way to manufacture productivity, and was one of the first cases of music controlling a large number of people. 80 years later, in our modern time, Musac's innovation is still everywhere. Now with companies like Mood Media and Soundtrack Your Brand, this low-fidelity music, as it's now called, is everywhere. It's used to influence the way you move around a shopping centre, or remove awkwardness from silent spaces. And it's this kind of subtle manipulation that keeps you in the clothes store browsing for longer. The slower, more laid-back music makes you browse slower, keeping you there, paying them more money. The genre of music plays into it as well. You might hear classical music in a wine store because it's more refined and rich, to show you that their wine is much better than the others. Airports also use this method. They know that stress and frustration are bad for operations, so they use peaceful ambient sounds and music to keep people calm and even possibly stop people from shouting at TSA. There's an entire industry behind it. Companies like Mood Media and Soundtrack Your Brand, they provide curated playlists for brands that even take into consideration things like time of day and weather to maximize the effect it has on customers. But it's also not just music that is designed to influence customers. The sounds in everyday objects have also been especially engineered to evoke feelings in people. The pop of the drinks can is so embedded into people nowadays that when you hear it, you subconsciously get thirsty and want to get one too. The pop on a champagne bottle is subconsciously linked with celebration and special events. The companies behind items like these have engineered the sounds to make people want to keep getting more. It's called sonic branding. When you hear that click when you open your phone, hiss when you crack open a Coke, or the futuristic whir of an electric motor, it's not just a sound, it's a part of the brand. It works the same with jingles for brands. They're so subconsciously embedded that even in my notes, where ChatGPT helps me to write my scripts, you can tell what that fast food restaurant is. Psychologists call it the mere exposure effect. The more often you hear something, even subconsciously, the more you start to like it. That's why a jingle you once ignored can suddenly feel nostalgic. It's not just your taste. You would never slap it in your Spotify playlist. It's repetition, and it's that sonic branding which helps to explain why certain companies are so big, and just may explain why there's so many clothes in that brimming wardrobe of yours. We now live in a world where silence is manufactured. Ambient sound is a form of architecture that shapes the experiences we have, unnoticed, just like most architecture. It's all there though, in the background, because often the quietest sounds have the most influence. And once again, my name is Archetype, and this is the music that is controlling your mind.